Welcome back to the fourth and final episode of my Digimon Story Time Stranger experience as a first time enjoyer of the franchise. If you're joining here and want to see the previous 3 episodes, feel free to head over to my channel and check out the playlist I've made for you. Now, including the text I usually add at the bottom, I want to also vocally preface that this will contain really big spoilers, so here's your warning. I follow almost every story beat. Now, for the final time, let's get into it. After finishing the Factorial Area timeline, we head back to Rebellion Village, and it looks like all the Digimon are preparing themselves for a fight. After heading to Marukimon, who's still poisoned, he let us know that the Titans intend to attack the village, and if they do, it's likely they will use it as a base of operations to subjugate the humans. Not good. He's going to lead the defense, but wants us to head over to the agents and investigate something suspicious happening, so we agree. Upon entering the DSAT area, we see a group of people overseeing the biggest guy of all time, and it's here that Inori recognizes her dad stood in front of it. Time for a reunion.
Apprehend the intruders.
Oh. He orders us to be arrested and calls for the biggest guy of all time to be activated, as the events of the start of the game are about to happen, and he believes this is the key to survival. Through the power of storytelling distraction, we run away from the heavily armoured government personnel with literal firearms and head to the city streets. We need to get to the government building and try to stop what is set in time before the Inferno happens again, so we get to it. Oh, also, I have no idea what this guy is here, so if anyone can tell me what it is, that'd be awesome. We're surrounded by really big Digimon, so can't really progress forward, but Moltres appears and says they will fly us up to the roof, so we hop on. We get to the roof, but unfortunately we aren't fast enough, and the story plays out just like it did at the start, except we see Goat Boy dive in front of the biggest guy of all time to protect Inori. Gold Fist comes out of the portal. Big explosion.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Instead of appearing in the theatre of plot armor, we get to see a scene where ruptures in time begin to open and Inori gets pulled through one. Goat Boy doesn't like this and seems to digivolve into... Wait, I had a feeling about this, but I couldn't prove it. Now I think I was right. Anyway, we get blasted and the plot armor kicks in again and we arrive in the theatre. We learn that in the timeline we just visited, Marukimon was too weak to spearhead the attack with the Digimon and died in the conflict, which likely played a part in everything messing up. Turns out we actually now travel through time without Goat Boy. How interesting. I wonder why. Anyway, we gotta go back to fix this, so it's strange in time. We try to explain to Marukimon that if he attacks in this state, he will lose and the timeline will break. He doesn't seem to believe us, but Venusmon appears and has the antidote prepared, curing him of his poison and making him prepared to fight at full strength. We head with him this time to Central Town and assist in the attack, cutting through the Titans and assisting any Digimon we see. At the end of the village, we find Marukimon is in a fight with some kind of bulbous, purple floating jester who talks about things being too early. I have no idea what that means. Anyway, look. Venom Myotismon. Is this the destiny of Myotismon? I can't wait. Unfortunately for him, he didn't last too long and was sent back to Venom Transylvania. This fixes the issue in Central Town, and when we get back to the theatre, we find out that unfortunately the Inferno happened again, and the other playable character choice, unfortunately, doesn't have plot armor and dies. Heavy. We learn that the leader of the Titans, Plutomon, resides in the dark field and we need to go and make peace with him, so we head over and see what he wants. We arrive in the dark zone to find it's full of spooky looking things like this spider and this gecko frog on meth. Turns out to explore this place you have to give this green trumpet blower the ick so that he can throw up and teleport. I stopped asking questions a while ago. We reach Plutomon's chambers only to find he's decided to get in the seasonal spirit of Halloween by zombifying himself. Now it's hard to negotiate with zombies, so I guess we gotta kill them and ruin the timeline. Oh well. Goodbye, zombie Plutomon. Back to the theatre, back to the dark field, fix the issue. It's strange in time. When we arrive back at the throne room a second time, it looks like the purple pest is here and thanks Plutomon for being a fine puppet and begins the zombification process on him before flying away like a purple coward. Before we leave, Plutomon explains that he was being manipulated, but during that time came to learn an important truth. The truth that the entire conflict was a setup brought about by a hero that's fallen to darkness. Turns out the Titans' old legends were covered in fabrications, but fabricated by who? Plutomon reveals it was in fact Chronomon all along. Chronomon is an absolute being that reigned over Iliad, but one day learned about an even higher power than him, a creator-like being who conceived everything that will happen, and so Chronomon began to fall into despair, seeing all of existence as nothing more than gears crafted by this higher power. To break the chains of predetermined fate that bound him, he ordered all of the Titans to attack this higher power, And of course they lost to this higher being. And for his treachery, Chronomon was sealed away in the very thing he found the information about the higher power in, the Akashic records, and the Titans who assisted him were banished to the lowest level of Iliad and branded in history as the villains of the digital world. We return to Marukimon, explaining everything, and he heads out to speak with Plutomon and takes Venusmon to heal him. Upon returning, he lets us know he now knows about this plot by Chronomon and tells us he's heard of something suspicious about to happen in the human world which might be related, so we head to Dr. Simmons to learn more. She explains that the agents at DSAT are planning to release the biggest guy of all time and we need to stop them, and the best way of doing this is to find and free the Digimon they are using to power it. It's time to put a stop to this machine once and for all, so we head out. It's strange, but not before this.
Guys, we're getting megas. Let's go. Oh, it turns into Junomon. No way. A pink dragon. I love Digivolving when I don't know what they are. I love it. What the fuck is this? Oh god, it's so cool. God, it's cool. Oh my god, that is sick. Bro, megas are so cool. Yo! Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Mate, the Digimon looks sick. Oh my god. I can't wait to just have a team of megas and see what the animations look like as well. Amazing. So clean. Yeah, that's so crazy. Yo!
I decided, as we're kind of on a spy mission, we all needed to be dressed the part. And as I couldn't find any Digimon that looked really spy-like, I went with a masked team wearing all black. We head through the labs, learning more about the machine and what might be powering it, setting off alarms and defeating the Digimon who are being forced to defend the place, most likely due to them being captured and experimented on. We get to the room where the Digimon is being held, and it's Vulcanusmon, but unfortunately his core has been forcibly removed by Kuga and he is already dead. We were 30 minutes too late. Back to the theatre, fix the issue. It's strange Nah, I'm not doing that anymore. After running through the destroyed city streets a second time, we are stopped by the smoky figure who, as predicted, was in fact Goat Boy all along. It's revealed that every time the timeline has fallen to ruin, it's because he was trying to find one where he can save Inori from being lost in the time rupture, but all the altering has made a complete mess of time itself. He believes that if he had stopped himself from being born in the human world, there wouldn't exist a scenario where Inori was lost. When Chronomon was defeated, he created a means to alter time and break him from his seal, fulfilling his true desire. Goat Boy is what he created, and he believes that every hardship we've encountered over all time was to help him get stronger to fulfill his ultimate purpose. He theorizes that because he can travel through time at will, that it is proof enough, but so can we now. We've been traveling through time without him. What does that mean? And that's when he says this.
You've already realized it too, haven't you? That you're mine.
We wake up in the theatre and the theories are further clarified about Goat Boy being a demon created by Chronomon to inherit his power and tamper with time. We arrive in the DSAT labs again, but the weapon isn't activated yet. Maybe we can get to Vulcanusmon in time. We get there before Kuga this time and are able to release Vulcanusmon before he perishes, but not before he says this.
Oh, I remember you. You're Digimon, right?
This is where Kuga walks in, and as we aren't a defenseless Digimon trapped in a tank he can experiment on, he cowardly runs away. It's breakout time. The weapon can't be powered without Vulcanusmon, so off we go, fighting through the Digimon in the lab, but before we can escape, Kuga appears in his very own metal gear and reckons this little toy could withstand the spy squad. Ah, give me a second. Okay, moving on. Kuga's mech gets destroyed first try and he runs away. Again, like a coward. With the huge weapon out of commission, at least for now, we move on. After debriefing, we learn that after Asuna captured and interrogated Kuga, he was being supplied as experiment subjects by a Digimon who is trafficking their own kind, which is wild. Turns out it was Lunamon from 8 years ago, now going by Dianamon, and it's a right piece of work. So off we go to fix the issue, because we are the time stranger and we fix the strange things. We arrive in the cosmic area, which is home to 2 different zones that can be flipped like a coin to traverse them. We explain to the Guardians at the start about why we are here and what Dianamon is doing. This annoys them, as they don't believe it, but before they can incinerate us, a pumpkin appears who apparently works for Apollomon, the one who resides in the fiery area, and lies, saying I'm their assistant, which lets us in. Very helpful. But what is a pumpkin doing here? A little out of the ordinary, but you know, whatever, we'll move on. Heading through this fiery area, we find out that Beelzemon is in fact rideable and it's a motorbike. How cool. I love the model for it as well. I am never getting off. We head through the zone, but are quickly met with an impassable firewall, which needs to be extinguished by a chill seed. We grab a fire seed just in case and head over, flipping the switch and entering the ice zone. Again, heading through and converting Digimon, gathering items and XP, we make it to a chill seed. We then head back again and start passing through the fire that was blocking us. At the top, we meet Apollomon, who was Chronomon 8 years ago. Apparently, Apollomon and Dianamon are not on the best of terms at the moment. We don't know why, but Apollomon sees us as outsiders and tells us to leave. We refuse, so he incinerates us. Apollomon sees us as outsiders and tells us to leave. We refuse, so he loses. First try again, of course. Apollomon explains he didn't want to believe the rumors about Dianamon, but now realizes if this issue is to be resolved, he needs to confront her himself. And he explodes with rage and flies off. We flip the switch and hurriedly bike our way through the ice zone. We get to the top and find Dianamon on her throne. Apollomon confronts her about the rumors, and instead of explaining herself, seemingly dejected about his words and lack of concern for anyone's feelings, doesn't explain herself. This goads him into deeper anger and a fight breaks out. But Dianamon was not a problem for a team of highly trained leather-bound gaggle of masked goths with guns. Dianamon was not a problem for a team of highly trained leather-bound gaggle of masked goths with guns, and after the fight ended, the two began to reconcile. Turns out that Dianamon was instructed to move the Digimon to a human world by none other than Junomon, and that they have no idea that they were being experimented on. The plot doth thicken. They tried to find Minervamon to learn why she was sending Digimon away, but they were nowhere to be seen. After they became friends again, we decide the best course of action is to go and confront Junomon about the Digimon trafficking. We arrive at Junomon's palace and, yeah. Looks like it's become the literal Eye of Sauron, and just like the Fellowship, we walk right towards it. Entering Junomon's throne room, we see her and she appears to be, how do I put it? Evil. Also, she doesn't speak. It's here we learn that the reason Dianamon didn't tell Apollomon about the Diginapping was because she heard that he had joined the Titans. This was a lie. He says it's strange that he never heard from her after sending many messages and she never received any. Now, somebody's been pissing in the soup. Well, who could it be? We wake up in a cell where the little pumpkin freak is goading us from behind the bars, explaining he was the soup pisser all along. But before he can continue to be annoying, he's swiftly turned into a pumpkin spice latte by none other than Tyrant Kabuterimon. What a legend. With him is Witchmon and Titamon on his mount, only now they are small. Now that the Titans know of the whole Chronomon plot, we join forces hoping we may find Minervamon in one of these jail cells. After exploring, we see a few characters we've met before, including Sharkmon, who is imprisoned. After further exploration, we are found by Clavis Angimon, who is here to put us back in our cells, but that's not on the Time Stranger's strange agenda for today, so we take them down. Sorry, one sec. It's not on the Time Stranger's strange agenda today, and he's cheating, so the witch puts him to sleep and we run. Heading through jail cells and flipping switches, we make the walls change in search of a way to find Minervamon and escape ourselves. But Clavismon keeps appearing and chasing us down. The witch does keep sleeping him though, and we keep on running. As this was happening, I was thinking, if this guy is cheating, but putting up all these reflective buffs and taking basically no damage, but does take damage, meaning he could be defeated, there must be a cool item on him if you take him down. And there is an item, but you don't get it the way you'd think. After more exploring and being chased, we are surrounded by the guards and flee down some stairs which heads to a dead end and a cell. And it's here where cheating Angimon teleports down to capture us, but is a little too far away from his game shark and has lost his hacks. As we fight him, Titamon realizes he still has the ability to use the world and freezes time. Only we can move, and Cheetamon is inside the cell. And it's here where you can get the nice item. Now when the time is frozen, don't immediately flip the switch, instead move behind him and you can yoink a physical damage reflect item. Pretty neat. Anyway, we flip the switch and he's trapped. We head back up and find Minerva in a cell. Apollomon and Dianamon combine their powers and destroy the door, releasing her. Now with everyone reunited and a way out established, it's time to head to Junomon again. We arrive and she begins addressing us as the Great Guardian, expressing her disdain for us abandoning the digital world, but Goat Boy is the Great Guardian. Why is she talking to me? Either way, she's completely lost her mind and thinks I belong to her and she kicks off. But it's fine. We have a whole squad of seriously dangerous individuals and she's taken down easily. We win first try, okay? After taking her down, the plum appears again, but before we can get answers, it flies off. Chronomon explains she felt like she was dreaming inside a nightmare made by her own negative emotions. She corroborates the information we learned from Plutomon regarding the plot, but we find out that his ultimate goal, freedom, can only be attained through his own destruction. So the egg, which was heralded as the savior of the world, is in fact a tool for his own annihilation and replacement. We return to the theatre and learn that if we are to truly save the world, we need to find and bring Goat Boy out from his desire to constantly travel through time to save Inori. So it's time to go and find him in the abyss of space and time. But first,
Alright. Our Digimon that we got at the start of the game, our very first pick, is finally getting their final form. Let's go. So cool.
now I could have had just one, but why not get all of them, right?
Yo, actual devil, demon, Creepymon, Creepymon. Yo, what the hell?
Amazing. We appear in the abyss of space and time and get a phone call from the operator, who is no longer dead, and begins to explain to us that we aren't exactly human. We were created by the higher power that Chronomon tried to defeat, and their name is homeostasis. We were created to eliminate anything that interrupted the natural law, and that they chose a being's template to use when creating us. That template was Goat Boy, or the shadowy figure. We were based off one of the countless versions of the shadow in one of the timelines. As homeostasis has an aversion to directly intervening with the world it oversees, it chose these shadows of Aegeomon as a template, as a way to make Aegeomon correct his own mistakes. Adamas, our organization, our personality, and memories were all created for this mission alone. Even the operator, who, as it turns out, only exists in our head. The dark shadow we were made from was a wish Aegeomon had to reunite Inori with her little brother, and in doing so tried to replace him. The little brother loved a certain character from an anime and pretended to act like him, and it's because of this that's why we look like the character ourselves. The reason we began to be mistaken as Aegeomon by other Digimon is because the closer the timeline gets to integration, our form begins to return to that of Aegeomon's. So to summarize, Chronomon made Aegeomon, Aegeomon made the shadows, and we were made from one of those shadows. We then meet Aegeomon, and he appears to be coming to terms with what he's been doing and its consequences. By preventing any timelines from moving forward, he has in fact stopped all time from moving. We follow him and convince him to let time flow naturally again, even at the cost of both of us ceasing to exist. He thanks us for helping him come to a decision and draws all the shadows into himself, including us. This fusion creates one of the sickest Digimons I've seen in the playthrough. Jupitermon. Love this design. Super clean. With all the timelines aligned to the point where we stopped the collapse from happening and gathered all of our allies, we let them know it's time to finally destroy Chronomon and let time move forward as it should. But first, the Inferno must be stopped. Honestly, I was gonna comment over this, but it's so f***ing cool, I'm just gonna let it play out. Enjoy.
So let us defeat Chronomon and move forward!
Are you sure I can go and fucking get stuff? Feels like it's gonna end.
This city where Inori was born and raised. I do not wish to harm it more. Let us go elsewhere.
Yeah, Pokemon is legitimately cooked, bro. I'm sorry. They have been... What?
created this space by using the collision of opposing forces. The sun and the moon. I will give it my all to keep Chronomon trapped in this space. In the meantime, I'm counting on you. Finish this!
Bro, I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Like, this shit's insane. It's amazing.
Like, come on. That was so cinematic. If I wasn't already an enjoyer of Digimon by this point, I definitely am now. The animation, the music, the voice acting, 10 out of 10. So we fight the biggest guy, trading blows in one final battle to decide the fate and flow of time itself. And upon beating him, many ruptures begin to appear around us, and it's in this moment we're able to grab Inori and pull her from where she was lost. We wake up in a pocket of time which seems to contain all the zones from the human and digital world combined, and now, with the team reunited, we can finally make our move on Chronomon himself. As we head over, the Plum appears again, but this time he speaks to us, revealing himself to be Chronomon and explaining that he has been waiting a long time for us to come and destroy him. But as he is bound by a curse, he will, regardless of his will, destroy anyone who intrudes on the Akashic records. So that's where we are. Neat. It explains that if we don't destroy him, he will leave us trapped in here to rot for the crimes of tampering with time. So we head out. Chronomon then flies into the core of the biggest guy of all time, transforming it into something far more fierce looking, and there's our final boss, I think. But before we head forward, we're given the option to visit the rich kids in the VIP room, so we do, and for all our hard work in repairing time, they give us the power to travel anywhere at any point to essentially cover any loose ends. And that means side missions. I think I had maybe like 1 or 2 left.
Okay.
Mother of God. So I didn't cover all these side missions, like I said, they're not too important to show in the video, but there were a handful you're given in this endgame that were really cool actually. They tied up stories and answered questions. I won't go into much more detail, but I will do on this one. You're charged with gathering all of the Royal Knights, and I hear they're really important characters, so we do that. You have to do a decently long chain of side missions to get them all either to agree to help, come to terms with their own abilities, or settle some scores. Once you've gathered them all, you are then greeted by one extra member, the mythical 13th member of the Royal Knights, Alphamon. He challenges us to a duel to test the worthiness of humanity and if they are even worth saving. Omnimon assists us, and we are victorious. A little later down the line, we're asked to come back, and before the final battle, the Knights want to 1v1 us as a warm-up. So we begin working our way down the line of 12, and it's here where I really felt the difficulty of the game. Maybe change Digimon, focus on mechanics and pick the right moves and items every single fight. Super enjoyable and challenging. Off to Chronomon. So we head through all the previous zones, dealing with small problems in each area, which allows Digimon to progress forward to the final fight. I won't cover it all, but there was one point I wanted to add. Check it out.
We'll never reach Chronomon at this rate. You folks, have Pegasusmon carry you on ahead.
No way!
I can still manage to hold out long enough to give you a chance to fly away.
Forget it. We're not leaving.
In that case, let me fight alongside you.
He lives! Honestly, I wasn't even recording the mic at this point, I was so locked in, but I legitimately stood up with hype. Long live the Bear Bros. We head through all the other zones, helping survivors in the abyss, helping Bacchusmon eat berries? It's for strength, don't worry about it. And traverse through this invisible bridge to make it through Junomon's gate, and after a brief stint in an unstable pocket of time, we arrive at our destination, Chronomon. Every ally we have made all leap forward with us to take on Chronomon, and before we can even begin, we are greeted with this. This is actually impossible. How are we meant to beat this guy? But the astute of you who were watching this were probably pumping your fists in the air earlier when I showed you that I did the Royal Knight side quest. It's pretty important that you do it, see, because if you don't do it, you don't get to see this.
No! Why? Look up there!
This is a special exception.
A traitor, protected by the laws of nature, cannot be engaged by those who also live under the laws of nature. In such a case,
Someone who exists outside of such laws must punish the traitor.
Can't we drop the chit-chat? Aren't we pressed for time?
right. Interference is being allowed. Just this one time. From outside. By the current's power. Oh, I'm getting sleepy again.
We've got to finish this before Homeros falls asleep. We're counting on you. Thank you.
Like, come on, that is so good. I love this game. This destroys Chronomon's barrier and we are able to then start dealing damage to him. After a certain amount of damage taken, however, he will reverse time back and regain his health, and this will also make the Digimon allies break down, giving you the last of their power. This happens a few more times and at one point it even turns you all back into rookie Pokemon. But with Goat Lad at your side, now sure of his time controlling powers, he begins to reverse that process, bringing you back. A few close calls and a long fight later, and Chronomon meets his end. But with the Keeper of All Time now destroyed, all of time itself is beginning to unravel, and it's now our duty to take his place. Inori is of course completely beside herself because all she's known is loss, and after making a good friend in us and a little brother in Goat Boy, she is brought to tears. But we have to do this, or it's all been for nothing. We awake in a pocket of time and Goat Boy seems in better spirits. Now, the Keeper of Time, he knows everything is flowing as it's supposed to, and although he's sad he has to stay here for an eternity or two, he knows that Inori, her brother, and her mother will be returned to her, and in a twist of fate, he sends us back to the human world to watch over her.
Wow, cool! That's an alpha model! Can I hold it for a minute? Is it really the real thing? You? Please behave, would you?
Oh, I am so sorry about...
Bloody Nori! Come on.
Man, what an amazing game. After a total of 70 hours of playtime, along with all the editing and videos I've made so far, I can safely say that Digimon is an incredible franchise. So you really didn't need me to tell you that. An absolute gem of a game, and I will definitely be going to watch some of the animes in my spare time after this, so any recommendations on stuff like that, please let me know. But now, I'm afraid, dear viewers, my time with Digimon has come to an end, and it's time for me to move on. Is what I would say if I was actually done with this shit. A few observant members of previous videos are likely typing in the comments going, what happened to the bees? Where are the bees? You promised bees. I can't believe you didn't bring the bees back. And I know, I'm sorry I didn't bring them back. But that's because I couldn't leave you all empty-handed after all your generosity with welcoming me into your fandom, giving me positive feedback and advice, and just generally being awesome. So, I'm going to give you one more Digimon video. I'm going to replay the game from start to finish, but only ever using a team of fun Beemon on hard mode. I usually like to impose challenges on myself in games. You may have noticed for about 80% of this playthrough, my reserve spots were empty, you know, stuff like that. So this is going to take me a long time to do, I think, so the gap between this video and the fun Beemon challenge will be pretty big. So where's the content? Well, with this being a pretty big undertaking for a new Digimon player, I'm probably going to need some help along the way. So in the spirit of keeping myself accountable on completing the challenge, getting advice from you veterans, and also continuing to provide you with entertainment, I will be streaming the entire thing. I will begin to decide a start date and schedule that works, and most likely let you all know in a YouTube post, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in coming along for the ride. Again, thank you all so much for an amazing journey through these 4 videos. I hope, regardless of the game itself, you've also just enjoyed the content generally, so when the time does come for me to give my thoughts on something else, you can come and enjoy that too. Loved this game, love Digimon. Oh, and
if you want to see what happens, you'd better like this video, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications.
well, go on, you heard the lady.